your job, your bank balance, even the thoughts running quietly through your mind, or so you believe. You think these are your choices, the result of your effort, your intelligence, your hard work. You think this is freedom, but what if it is? What if the life you're living was designed long before you were born? What if the greatest illusion in human history is the belief that you are in control? Because the truth is far more unsettling. You are not the master of the game. You are a piece on the board, a puppet. And the strings are not in your hands. They are held by a force so powerful, so deeply rooted, that the world hesitates to even speak its name. A shadow authority, an unseen hand, a system operating behind governments, economies, and culture itself. But how did such power come into existence? How did anyone gain authority over billions of lives? The story goes back centuries to a deal made not with nations, but with something darker, something beyond ordinary human ambition. A promise of global influence in exchange for something far more valuable, the soul of humanity itself. And today that secret is no longer hidden. Every illusion is about to collapse. Every lie is about to be exposed. Because the true cost of that deal is not paid by them, it's paid by you. And by me, paid in freedom, paid in truth. Welcome. This is Chapter 1. Chapter 1: Pop Culture's Illuminati. Versus the real one. When most people hear the word Illuminati, their minds jump to novels, movies, and pop stars. A mysterious, stylish, almost glamorous secret society. Something cool, something fictional, but investigative researcher Jim Marrs once warned us that image is not an accident. It is camouflage, a distraction, because the real Illuminati is not modern, it is not trendy, and it is not harmless. It is ancient, methodical, and deeply dangerous. This is not a club. It is not a society. It is an agenda, a long-term plan passed quietly from generation to generation, a plan to shape a world where freedom exists only on paper, where choice is an illusion, where control feels like comfort. Imagine a wolf wearing the skin of a sheep and walking peacefully among the flock. Now imagine the wolf spreading rumors that wolves are funny, harmless, even admirable. Soon, the sheep stop watching. Pop culture's version of the Illuminati is that sheep's clothing. It exists to make you laugh, to make you curious, to make you careless. This story exists to tear that disguise away, to reveal the hungry wolf beneath it. Because what began as a gathering of rebellious thinkers would eventually evolve into something far more ambitious, a blueprint for global control. Chapter 2: The birth of a good idea. Every great evil in history began with a good intention. On May 1, 1776, in Bavaria, Germany, a law professor named Adam Weishaupt founded what would become known as the Bavarian Illuminati. His goal, on the surface, was noble. He dreamed of a world free from superstition, free from the tyranny of kings, free from blind obedience to religious authority, a society guided only by reason, logic, and knowledge. Their slogan said it all: a new order for the ages. And honestly, who wouldn't be tempted by that vision? A world without poverty, without corruption, without endless war. But beneath that beautiful promise lived a dangerous belief. Weishaupt believed that ordinary people were not capable of governing themselves, that the masses were too ignorant, too emotional, too easily misled. And so he believed they needed guidance, not democracy, direction, from a small group of enlightened individuals who knew better than everyone else. The philosophy was simple and terrifying. The end justifies the means. If lies were necessary, they were acceptable. If manipulation was required, it was justified. If freedom had to be sacrificed to create a perfect world, so be it. And right there, a good idea crossed a line and stepped onto a very dark path. Chapter 3: The secret language of symbols. The Illuminati could never operate in the open, so they hid, not underground but in plain sight. They created a language of symbols, a visual code that allowed them to recognize each other while remaining invisible to everyone else. And one symbol above all others has endured for centuries. You've seen it. You might even carry it in your wallet. The all-seeing eye sitting atop an unfinished pyramid, printed on the back of the US $1 bill. Officially, we're told it represents divine guidance, God watching over humanity. But researchers like Jim Marrs argue that the real meaning is very different. The pyramid represents hierarchy, At the base, the masses, people like you, people like me. And at the top of the eye, a small group of illuminated individuals who see everything, monitor everything, and quietly control it all. Another symbol appears again and again, the owl. The owl of Minerva, a creature that sees in the dark. It represents hidden knowledge, secrets kept from ordinary people. And it reflects how this power operates not in the spotlight, but in the shadow, silently, patiently, waiting. These symbols are not just images, they are psychological weapons. They speak to us constantly, not to our conscious mind, but to something far deeper, our subconscious. Without realizing it, we absorb them, we accept them. We normalize the idea of being watched, guided, controlled. Over time, the mind stops resisting. And that is the most dangerous form of influence there is. Chapter 4, The Great Hijacking. At the beginning, the Illuminati was small. Very small, just 5 men. So how did something so tiny grow into a force capable of reshaping the world? The answer is simple and brilliant. They didn't expand outward, they infiltrated inward. Instead of building their own massive organization, they took control of ones that already existed, powerful ones, respected ones. And their greatest target was Freemasonry. At the time, Freemasonry was the most influential secret fraternity in Europe. Its members included politicians, scholars, military leaders, and wealthy businessmen, people at the very top of society. Quietly, patiently, the Illuminati embedded themselves within it. They formed a secret circle inside a secret brotherhood. Here's an analogy. Imagine you install free antivirus software on your computer. You trust it. It's there to protect you. Now imagine a hacker sends an update, and you install it without question. The antivirus doesn't fight the virus, it becomes the virus. That's exactly what happened. Lower-ranking Freemasons never realized that their highest leaders were now serving a different agenda, an invisible one. Through Freemasonry's global network, the Illuminati gained access to governments, economies, and institutions worldwide. It was the largest silent takeover in history, and almost no one noticed. Chapter 5, The Grand Plan. A new world order. So what is the ultimate goal? In one word, control, total control, over nations, over systems, over people. The vision is called a new world order, a single global government. No borders, no nations, no wars. On the surface, it sounds peaceful, but look closer. It is a beautiful cage. This system would not be run by democratic elections. Power would rest in the hands of a small, unelected elite. Those who believe they were born to rule. Those who see humanity not as individuals but as livestock. To achieve this, they followed an ancient formula: order out of chaos. First, create chaos. Start wars, crash economies, divide societies, turn people against each other. Then wait. Wait until fear replaces freedom, until exhaustion replaces resistance. And when people finally beg for safety, step forward as the savior. History offers examples. The French Revolution, the American Revolution, the Russian Revolution, World War I, World War II. Researcher Jim Marrs argued these were not random events. They were engineered crises, manufactured chaos, designed to destroy old empires and lay the foundation for a new global power structure. Chapter 6, The Bankers. The real masters of the game. There is a quote often attributed to a powerful banking dynasty. Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws. That statement captures the heart of how real power works. Governments don't rule the world, money does, and those who control it control everything. Jim Marrs claimed the Illuminati slowly took over the global financial system. Central banks became their greatest weapon. Take the U.S. Federal Reserve. Despite its name, it is not a government institution. It is a private banking system. It has the authority to create money and loan it to the government with interest. Think about that. A nation borrowing its own currency from private entities. Who really owns the system? Wars make this even worse. International bankers fund both sides of conflicts. War creates debt. Debt creates dependence. And as nations sink deeper into financial obligation, bankers rise higher. Behind closed doors, they decide the future. Politicians are simply the faces on the screen. Chapter 7, Occupy the Mind. Financial control is only the beginning. True power comes from something deeper, control of the mind. The ultimate goal is not obedience. It's compliance. A population that no longer questions, no longer challenges, no longer thinks beyond what it's shown. This is called manufacturing consent, and the tools are everywhere. The media, entertainment, education, they don't just tell you what to think, they tell you what to want, what to fear, what to ignore. Over time, curiosity fades, critical thinking weakens, and control becomes effortless. Because when the mind is occupied, the chains don't need to be visible. These three forces, media, entertainment, and education, are the most powerful programming tools ever created. They are not institutions, they are factories. Hollywood movies and music videos are not just entertainment. They sell you a lifestyle, they sell desire, they sell identity. They quietly teach you that happiness comes from consumption, that fulfillment comes from buying, that meaning comes from pleasure, consumerism, hypersexualization, endless distraction, slowly, almost invisibly. These values sink into the subconscious. You don't notice it happening. But one day you wake up as the perfect consumer. Obedient, predictable, easily guided. Education plays its role too. It doesn't teach children how to think, it teaches them what to think. A fixed version of history, a fixed version of science, a fixed narrative. Critical thinking is discouraged. Obedience is rewarded. The system doesn't aim to create thinkers, it creates workers. Chapter 8: False Flags. Manufactured danger. This is perhaps the darkest chapter in the playbook. The false flag operation. An event that appears to be carried out by an enemy, but is secretly orchestrated by those claiming to protect you. Why? To justify war, to pass restrictive laws, to strip away freedom in the name of safety. This is order from chaos in its purest form. First, create fear. Then present yourself as the solution. Researcher Jim Marrs points to several historical events that some believe fit this pattern. Pearl Harbor, an attack many claim the U.S. government knew about in advance, used as justification to enter World War II. September 11th, an event surrounded by countless unanswered questions and theories. It's important to say this clearly. These claims are controversial. Mainstream historians reject them. This book is not here to prove them true. It serves a different purpose. Teach you how to think like a detective. When a major emotional event happens, don't immediately accept the official story. Pause. Ask one simple question: who benefits? Chapter 9: The Deal of the Soul. And now we return to the question we raised earlier. The deal. Do the Illuminati worship Satan? Jim Marrs explores this carefully and cautiously. Throughout history, many secret societies have practiced occult or Luciferian traditions. But their idea of Lucifer is not the devil most people imagine. The word Lucifer literally means light bringer. To them, Lucifer symbolized forbidden knowledge, knowledge hidden by institutions, knowledge denied to ordinary people. It represents rebellion, the belief that humanity does not need God because it can become God. One example often cited is Bohemian Grove in California. Every year, some of the most powerful people on earth gather there: presidents, CEOs, political leaders. Behind closed doors, they perform strange symbolic rituals in front of a massive owl statue, including something called the cremation of care. Is it theater, a joke among elites, or something deeper? Marrs suggests that at the highest level, this is not just about political or financial control. It is spiritual, a war over identity, a belief system designed to disconnect humanity from any higher source of meaning and replace it with ego, a world where the self becomes God. And once that connection is severed, nothing remains to restrain power. Chapter 10: The Illuminati today. So does this organization still exist? And if it does, what does it look like now? According to Jim Marrs, the Illuminati no longer operates under its original name. It evolved. It hides behind institutions, front organizations, and elite networks. He points to groups like the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, and the Bilderberg Group. These are private gatherings where powerful politicians, bankers, media executives, and corporate leaders meet behind closed doors. No press, no transcripts, no public accountability. The Bilderberg Group meets every year at a highly secretive location. What is discussed there is never officially disclosed, yet many attendees later rise to become presidents, prime ministers, or heads of global institutions. Bill Clinton, Tony Blair. Is this coincidence? Or is it a place where future leaders are selected, trained, and aligned? Is it just a discussion forum? Or is it the quiet control room of the modern world? They may appear to be enemies in public, Democrats versus Republicans, left versus right, red versus blue. On television, they fight, they argue, they divide the nation. But behind closed doors, they sit at the same table. They serve the same interests. They play for the same side. A global agenda that does not exist for your benefit or mine. Chapter 11, the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. One of the most effective tools ever used to shape societies is something known as the Hegelian dialectic. It works in three simple steps: problem, reaction, solution. First, a problem is created, a financial collapse, a terrorist attack, a public health crisis. Then comes the reaction. Fear spreads, anger rises, people demand action, they beg for safety, they beg for control, and finally, the solution is offered. Not a random solution, but the very solution that was planned from the beginning. More power for banks, more surveillance, fewer civil liberties. Consider September 11th. After the attacks, the world was consumed by fear. In response, laws were passed in the name of security. Surveillance expanded. Privacy vanished. Powers were granted to governments that would have been unthinkable in times of peace. Freedoms that could never be removed quietly were surrendered willingly, because people believed it was their choice. That is the brilliance of this method. It makes you feel like the solution is yours. You ask for the chains. You help build the cage, believing you are protecting freedom while laying the foundation for your own enslavement. Chapter 12. The depopulation question. This is perhaps the most disturbing and controversial chapter of all. Jim Marrs raises a question few are comfortable asking. Is reducing the global population part of a long-term agenda? He suggests that some elite thinkers believe there are simply too many people on Earth, too many consumers, too many mouths, too many lives to control. From this perspective, population reduction becomes a form of management. Marrs points to possible methods often discussed in this context: wars, epidemics, engineered pandemics, even slow, invisible influences through food and water, fluoride, GMOs, chemical additives, not as instant killers but as long-term weakeners. Take genetically modified foods. They are promoted as solutions to world hunger, as scientific progress. Yet questions remain: who controls the food supply, who profits, and what are the long-term health effects? Is it innovation or centralized control disguised as progress? Monuments like the Georgia Guidestones only deepen the mystery. Messages carved in stone speak of maintaining humanity under 500 million people, in balance with nature. Are these warnings or declarations? There are no easy answers here, only questions that refuse to disappear. Chapter 13, Technological Control. In the 20th century, the weapon of control was propaganda. In the 21st, it is technology. The ultimate vision is a fully monitored world, a cashless society, total surveillance, every purchase tracked, every movement logged, every conversation stored. At first, it sounds convenient. No wallets, no theft, no friction, but convenience has a price. When money becomes entirely digital, control becomes absolute. There is a switch, a financial kill switch. Disobey the system and access disappears. Your account freezes, your identity is flagged, your life grinds to a halt. Look at China's social credit system, a glimpse of what may come. Obey the rules and you are rewarded. Question authority and privileges are removed, travel restricted, opportunities denied. Technology does not just observe behavior, it shapes it. And once the system is complete, resistance no longer requires force, only silence. Low scores mean you can't buy a train ticket, you can't qualify for a loan, you can't access basic services. Quietly, you become a second-class citizen. No prison walls, no chains, just denial. This is how technology enforces obedience, and it's already here. 5G networks, the Internet of Things, facial recognition, smart cities, every device connected, every movement tracked. For convenience, we hand over our privacy willingly. We don't notice the moment it happens. We tell ourselves it's harmless, efficient, modern. But step by step, we are building our own digital prison. Chapter 14, The Spiritual War. This battle is not just about money, or power, or politics. It is spiritual, a war for the human soul. Jim Marrs believed the ultimate objective was to disconnect humanity from its spiritual roots entirely. To create a world where only matter exists. No soul, no God, no higher meaning, just consumption. Why? Because a spiritually grounded person is difficult to control. Someone who knows their inner strength doesn't obey easily, but a hollow individual, disconnected, numb, is effortless to rule. Look around. The glorification of ugliness, meaninglessness in modern art and music, the breakdown of family structures, faith dismissed as outdated, unscientific, irrelevant. Marrs argued this wasn't random cultural drift. It was intentional, an attack on everything that gives human life depth, identity, connection. Because when you forget who you are, you become easier to shape. If you believe you are nothing more than a biological accident, a random collision of matter, then purpose fades. And when purpose disappears, pleasure becomes the substitute. Dopamine replaces meaning, and addiction replaces freedom. Chapter 15, The Awakening of Resistance. So what now? After seeing this picture, after connecting the dots, is it over? Are we powerless? Jim Marrs said no. Their greatest strength depends on our ignorance, and awareness is their greatest weakness. The moment you recognize the game, you begin stepping out of it. You stop reacting unconsciously. You start observing consciously. You are no longer part of the herd. You are awake. That is the first step. Disconnect. Limit exposure to the propaganda machine. Question mainstream narratives. Stop accepting everything at face value. Clean your mental environment. The second step is education, real education. Research for yourself. Read alternative perspectives. Ask uncomfortable questions. Don't blindly believe this book. Don't blindly believe anyone. Truth doesn't fear investigation. Think of it this way: when you realize junk food harms your body, you don't argue about it. You change your behavior. You eat differently. The same applies to mental junk food. Ask yourself, what am I feeding my mind every day? Chapter 16, The Power of One. The plan feels overwhelming, too large, too powerful, and that's exactly what they want you to believe. What can one person do? That thought alone is a victory for the system, but history tells a different story. Every major transformation began with a single individual who refused to comply. Rosa Parks, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr. One person stands up, another finds courage. Then another, and another. When you choose truth, when you refuse to repeat lies, you change more than yourself. You shift the energy around you. Courage spreads, awareness multiplies, and that is what the system fears most. Not rebellion, awakening, because an awakened person is not a sheep. They are a lion, and lions cannot be controlled. Chapter 17, Inner Illumination. The word Illuminati means the enlightened ones. They claim ownership over light, over knowledge. But true illumination does not belong to secret societies. It begins inside, when you see clearly, when you think freely, when you reconnect with meaning beyond consumption. That is real power, and it cannot be taken from you, because the greatest revolution is the one that happens within. They don't want you to win this fight by taking away their light. That was never the way. The only way to win is by igniting your own inner illumination. It means turning inward, looking honestly at your mind, your body, your spirit, learning to understand them, to master them. Meditation, self-awareness, spiritual growth. These are not feel-good trends, they are acts of resistance. When you meditate, you reclaim your attention. You unplug from the endless noise. You step out of the media stream. When you eat consciously, you break free from systems built on addiction and manipulation. Every healthy choice is a rejection of a message that says, "You are weak, you need us." Every personal victory is also a political one. They want you looking outward for leaders, for saviors, for answers. Inner illumination says something different. Look within. Because all real power, all real knowledge, all real truth begins there. Chapter 18, Building a New System. The best way to defeat a broken system is not to fight it head on. It's to make it irrelevant. Build something better beside it. Start small. Support local communities. Buy from local farmers. Choose people over corporations. Explore alternative systems, decentralized currencies, independent information networks. Every small choice weakens centralized control. Imagine a town that stops relying on supermarkets and starts growing its own food. They build a community garden. They're not just growing vegetables, they're growing independence. They're growing freedom. You don't need to save the world. You just need to save your world. If enough people create small lives rooted in honesty, connection, and purpose, the false system above them collapses on its own, like a house of cards. Chapter 19, the ultimate question. This book has shared theories, connections, possibilities, but now comes the real test. What will you do with it? You have a choice. You can dismiss it all, call it nonsense, a conspiracy. That path is easy. It asks nothing of you. It lets you fall back asleep. Or you can sit with the discomfort. You can ask questions, think deeply, face uncertainty. That path can feel lonely, even frightening, but it leads somewhere real. Remember the scene from The Matrix: 2 pills, the blue one forget everything and return to comfortable illusion. The red one see reality for what it is. This book offers no guarantees, only awareness. The choice has always been yours. Chapter 20, your own deal. This story isn't really about secret societies, it's about you. They traded their souls for power, but ask yourself honestly, what deals are you making? A job you hate for security, silence to avoid conflict, abandoning your dreams to be practical. Are those not deals too? Every day people trade small pieces of themselves for comfort, approval, safety. An artist who creates ads for money while ignoring the art that speaks from their soul. A small transaction, repeated daily. This book's final message is simple. Your soul matters, protect it, speak your truth, live with integrity, let your light be visible. Because that light, quiet, steady, unbreakable, is the only force that has ever defeated darkness. Thank you for walking this path. And remember, the awakening was never outside. It was always waiting within you.